Hi everyone. I wanted to come on today and talk about Chicks 101. I'll be your chick teacher for the day. So, if you are thinking about investing in a new coop or chickens, it is very rewarding, also very time consuming, and can be labor intensive in the beginning. But once things get moving along and you have a routine, it is very rewarding. So, let's get started. When I was first getting into getting chicks, I thought about baby chicks, and I was so excited and overjoyed with the thought about little baby chicks, and I really knew nothing. I should have really taken the time to research, which I did do some research, don't get me wrong, I did. The timing on when they went from inside my home to outside into a bigger coop, I didn't thoroughly think about that, and so I could have done better with that. But I will say, so when you do get your new chicks, you want to research whoever you're buying your chicks from. We have gotten our chicks every time from the same little chick. She's a little chick lady. The little chick lady, she has her own garden shop, and chicks come in every spring. And so I really looked into all of that first, which I'm grateful I did, because I really love where we get our chicks. So do your research on that. Know where you're getting them. Know the kind of chicks you're getting. Are they docile? Are they gentle? Are they vocal? How many eggs do they lay per year? What color eggs? Them are kind of the fun things, right? I will say that for us, we live in a colder climate, so our chicks do stop laying in the winter. Chicks have a set number of eggs that they lay, so it's not like I'm not getting a certain amount of eggs. They just come around again in spring, so which is fine for me. So research all of that. Now, when you first get your chicks they're inside of your home, they're going to be young, right? You need to have a water feeder and a food feeder, and you're going to dip their little beaks into the water feeder so they know where their water is, so they know where their food is. You do what I've noticed is that if you're using shavings of any kind, and you want to make sure they're the right kind of shavings, there's a lot of do's and don'ts with that. But I like to put my water a little bit higher than the shavings, maybe on a brick, rock, however, whatever you want to use, just so the chicks are getting to know the area, and they will make a mess, and then all of the shavings will go into their water, and you'll have to clean it out more and more. So just be mindful of that. And now there is medicated and non-medicated feeds, crumble feeds. You can talk that over with whoever you're buying your chicks from, or where you're getting your feed from, which is really important. Now, I think when we first got our chicks, I had them in a storage tub, which that worked fine. I did have the heat lamp, that red heat lamp that shines down. That to me felt unsafe, because I felt like the tub, which is plastic, would get hot, and it's really hard. It clips on, so it's hard to maneuver on a tub. This spring, we got that heat. What is that? It's like a heat pad. It stays above them, and you can raise it up couple different levels. The heat is on high, medium, and low, and we kept it on medium and then transitioned to low. I don't think I ever had it on high, because it lowered so far down that they would huddle in, and we only had 6, and you want to know how many you're getting. You want to have chicks in pairs. They do better in pairs. And so the first year that we had our chicks, because it was warm in my house, I thought, I don't need to have this light on all the time. And the truth is that they are young and they are cold, and they usually would have a mama hen sitting on them, so they do need warmth all the time. And so I think that first year, the morning after we got them, one of them had taken its little journey to that chick afterlife. Beautiful place. And I was so sad, but then you learn, you live and you learn, and I realized that they do need that heat all the time. And you can know if your chicks are cold because they will get lethargic, they will stop eating, they will they might fall over, they'll huddle in a corner by themselves. You can tell when something's off with them. They're not around the other ones happy and chirping and doing all the lovely chick things. So be mindful of that. I will also say that like with the place that we get our chicks, if they take their journey within 24 hours, we will get reimbursed, which is nice. But so just know, do your research. There is also another funny little thing that I want to mention about chicks. They like kind of nuzzle into the ground or the beddings, and they kind of can fall over. Sometimes they do like a little shake or shimmy, and as a new chick owner, I was like, oh, there's a seizure happening, or they're dying out, I need help. No, that's normal. And you can Google that or look on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Look on YouTube and you can even see what that looks like, just so you know what that looks like. But so be mindful, you need clean water every day. Clean water is so key. They need their food, they need their heat. Them 3 things are key. And get a stable shelter. This year I got a little bunny hutch that was really transportable, and we kept it in our home. Then we transitioned it to the porch, and now now they're gonna be outside. But the shelter is really key because you want to be able to maneuver them, and it needs to be easy to clean. You need to keep their household clean. You want a clean house, clean chicks. So yeah, them are the main things when you're first getting chickens, I would say. Now, I give my chickens nettle tea with ACV, apple cider vinegar. I do that from when they're young to when they're laying hens. I do it maybe twice a month when they get older. When they're younger, I do it more often. It's worked wonders. My girls have never had any trouble. I've never had to deal with health issues. And you can tell a chick is healthy from, obviously monitor how they look, okay? Look at their feet, look at their wings, look at how their whole everything about their face. I look at them all the time. Also monitor their manure. Yes, monitor the chick's poop. It should look fluffy and white, maybe a tint of gray. If it's super runny, you can Google what them illnesses might be. But I do like to give electrolytes. When we're talking about food as they get older, you're going to want grit. That helps them digest and keep everything moving. I just sprinkle that in with my bedding. I also sprinkle in herbs. I have a big medicinal herb garden, which I know which herbs are really good for them, really good for their gut health, really good for intestinal issues, and things that'll keep them and that coop clean. So I just sprinkle that in with the grit and the shavings. It works wonders. Now on the bottom, if you have like a run or something like that, you can let them free range. That is another key thing. You want your chickens to free range. I let my girls go. Yes, I let them dig around and do their little due diligence to keep themselves healthy. They know what they need. So you need to let them go get what they need. And that is really, they get out fresh air. They're not cooped up in that coop. That's really important. I always feed my chicks any kind of food scraps that are healthy for them from our household. So I have a little bucket that I bring out to them every morning. Any eggs that somehow crack, I always feed them their eggs back. I love doing that. Sometimes I put them in the garden, but we use eggs every day. We have 5 people in my household. They're always using eggs, and all of them shells go back. So that mixed with herbs, the grit, food scraps, that's how you're going to keep your chickens healthy. You also want to provide them with a roost, which is somewhere that chickens don't lay down and go to bed. They're not closing their eyes and falling asleep to sweet dreams and a melody. You have to keep some type of a roost. So you can keep little rods or put them up, and they just sit on there. It makes them feel safe and secure, and that's what you want. You want your chickens to feel safe and secure, especially if you live out in an area where they might not be feeling that way, right? So that's really important. Also, chicks get bored. I know they have little brains, but they get bored. And so we always provide little toys. In the summer months, we put melons in there that they can scratch around and get, pumpkins, squash, all of that. We sometimes hang them and make it fun for them so then they can play. I've even seen chickens with swings. I haven't done that yet. That might be on the agenda for later this year. I don't know. But just make sure they have something to do. Like if they were outside, they'd be doing all them things outside in the free ranging and having fun and enjoying themselves. So give them something to do within the coop as well. What else can I say? The main thing is to let them get to know you and your family. Thank them for the work that they are doing, because they are putting in work to get you them eggs, right? And monitor them. Visit your chicks every day and They will be healthy as long as they're clean and they have the right nutrients and their water is clean, all of them things. So yeah, that was kind of a lot, but once you have a routine and you have your coop established inside and then outside and you know how to transition that, everything will go smoothly. Now, they're not going to lay right away. You know, usually this is what happens for me. I get my chicks in the spring, and then come fall, they are ready to lay. And they will be very vocal when they start to lay. In the spring, when they start to lay again, they get really loud and they tell you when they have eggs. Please believe they will tell you. They will be like, lady, mister, there is eggs in this coop. You need to come get them. So they kind of get loud. Know that about chickens. You know, people think, oh, it's only roosters that make noise. Have you watched any of my videos where you can hear me telling a story all in my story, and then all of a sudden somebody's trying to chime in from the background all the time, louder than ever? Yeah, that's my girls. That's chickens for you. They are loud. They tell you. They have all kinds of different voices, and you start to get to know what's what. Like, you start to get to know when they're just talking to each other, when they're yelling at each other, when there's a predator out there, when Mr. Possum tries to come in the middle of the night. You'll know. You get to know all that. But it's really fun and it's rewarding. It's really great for teaching your kids. My kids sure did learn some responsibility. And when them chickens start yelling around at 5 a.m., they know it's time to get up for school. Forget an alarm clock. You got chickens? You're good. So yeah, them are just some of the ins and outs about raising chickens. But it is, like I said, it's really rewarding, and they do great work and help your family stay healthy with their eggs. It's really great not having to run to the grocery store in the morning. You know, when you're having your morning coffee, you have fresh eggs right there. A little tidbit about the eggs. So eggs are good on the counter. They have like a barrier over them that keeps them okay in the coop. Not for too long, not for months, but you know, for a week, maybe 2 weeks. I'll let you do your research on that as well. Once you rinse them off, they do need to be in the fridge. That's another key thing. And there's ways you can Google too, or look up on YouTube. There's ways to tell if the eggs are still good. There's a water method. I'll let you research that. But yeah, I just wanted to come on and encourage everybody. You know, we have the ability to create a better food system. We can do better here in this country about how we maintain our health in a good way, and we have that responsibility to ourselves and to our family to uplift healthy living, right? So I hope you got what you needed from this video, and I hope you invest in your health and your family's health, because you got this. Okay, I gotta get back to work, friends. See ya.